Hello, everybody. This is JD again. Excuse me, I got a cold. But this video is titled, What Type of Presidential Candidate Am I? And what caused this title to come into existence and for me to think about it. There's this organization that supports or promotes political people. They contact me, and for a large sum of money, they wanted to promote me. And I told the individual, I have no money. He said, what? You got no money? Then what kind of presidential candidate are you? And then he hung up. So now I'm going to ask you guys. Thinking about that. I guess I'm not the rich one. I'm not the presidential candidate that has millions of dollars, who are in the top percentage of the rich in this country. I'm the presidential candidate who knows what it's like to struggle every day to pay my bills. I'm the presidential candidate that, what kind of presidential candidate am I? Really? I'm a person like you, the American people. I have a constitutional, United States Constitution core value. I feel the federal government should follow that core value. I truly believe that the federal government, even though they added the income tax amendment, should not be allowed to tax directly the citizens of this country. I'm a person who believes that the taxation of the United States should be based and built by the wealth of the nation. And it's not the ability to work, but it's the ability to spend. You see, the rich don't want to see that because, you see, they spend a heck of a lot more than the poor does, or the working middle class. I'm a person who has a strong understanding of the economy and how it works, and watching our nation slowly slip into a second rate and eventually possibly a third world nation because of the loss of our ability to create new wealth. I see our government interfering with other governments throughout the world, when I feel that our government should worry more about the people in this country. I'm sorry. I guess what kind of presidential candidate am I? That I am not rich. Actually, really, like he said, you got no money? What kind of presidential candidate are you? One who believes in you, the people, and the government should serve the people, not the rich, but all the people? I'm not saying the government shouldn't serve the rich, because they're part of the people too, but the government should equally serve all the people, from the poorest citizen to the richest citizen. Is there something wrong with believing in the values of the Constitution? Some people say, education's not in the Constitution, so therefore the federal government should not be spending money, providing money for the states on it. Well, I say, nope. According to the Elastic Clause, education is. The Elastic Clause, oh yeah, that's the one that allows the federal government to do highways for postal routes. Now, how is the Elastic Clause applied to education? One of the main functions of the federal government is to provide for common defense of the nation. Each of our military requires all personnel entering the service a minimum of a high school diploma or equivalency. So therefore, in accordance with the Elastic Clause, to provide for the common defense of the nation, the federal government must see to it that the states have the funds needed to provide for the education needed for the military, thus providing for the common defense of the nation. Oh. But, see, that's in the Constitution. I believe in the Constitution of the United States, and that should be our core values. I believe in a government of the people. Now, unfortunately, I believe you, the people, are important. But you see, I believe you're important 365 days a year, 24/7. 24 hours, 7 days a week. I don't believe that you're important and you matter during the election time. I believe you are important and you matter constantly. What the government should be doing is somehow making every day your life a little better. That does not mean social welfare programs. That means maybe someone who has a small business not be taxed to death, so his business can't work. That means the worker who gets his paycheck don't watch 1/3 to half his paycheck go to the federal and state government, but to go to him. That means when the child goes to school, he gets a top-notch education no matter what state, what school he goes to. That means that the rights and privileges of every citizen, whether 99 plus years old or 99 seconds old, is protected. See, that's the kind of presidential candidate I am. I have no money. And apparently, people who have money shy away from me. I don't know why. But we, the people, can win if we only choose to. You're going to have your hardcore voters. That's the ones who vote always Democratic, always Republican, always Libertarian. Now notice I didn't mention one group. That's right, I did not mention Tea Party. Whoa! Why did I not mention Tea Party? Because if you really look into the Tea Party, it's nothing more than another way to spell Republican. Eventually, either the Tea Party will take over all the Republican Party, or the Republican Party will take over all the Tea Party. But it's still the same group. You know, my old saying, a rose by any other name is still a rose. A Republican by any other name is still a Republican. Some people bring up Rand Paul and say, wow, they're surprised at some of the things he says. And they answer, well, he has to play the political game. There is no political game. The truth is, You sell out your core values. You sell out your core values. And that's it. I don't know what his core values are. I would expect him to be like his father, Ron Paul. Not like the Republican Party. But that's neither here nor there. I listen to Huckabee. I listen to Ron Paul. I hear them all saying the same thing that I'm saying. And I listen to some other people in Congress saying the same thing I'm saying. But then sometimes I cross over the line to the other side. And I'll say some things. I mean, I'll be honest with you. The only thing I got really against Obamacare is it provides no care. It is only insurance regulations. It does several things towards the medical health insurance. Now, it enables you to get medical health insurance, and it forces you to get medical health insurance. Like my comment was when they said, oh, they reached 7 million. Did they reach 7 million new people, or was there 7 million people who were kicked off their insurance because of Obamacare and they needed to get back onto a health insurance program? Which one is it? Don't know. They're not going to tell you. So I would have called, if I was Obamacare, I would call it Obama's Health Insurance Regulation. That is designed to enable anybody who wants health insurance can get it and not worry about losing their health insurance because they get drastically sick or terminally sick. So that's what I would call it. It provides no medical for any individual, but it does provide the ability to get medical health insurance. See, that's the big difference. And if he would have got up and just said that right up front and gone from there. Now, bottom line though, back to the statement. What kind of presidential candidate am I? I guess not a rich one. I guess one who sees things at a different angle than those in Washington, D.C. The one who sees when you look at your paycheck and you make $600 and you take home $375. Hey, did I make $600? No, you didn't make $600. You made $375. I look at, I got this much in bills and this much to pay it with. Somehow I got to bring this down and this up. So at least they're somewhere there and yet provide for our family needs on a daily basis. Give you an example. We had so much money to spend on food. Being retired military, I have the commissary available. So we went to the commissary first. Found some things that were cheap, got them. Then from there, we went to another store, Save-A-Lot, got some canned vegetables, because the canned vegetables at Save-A-Lot is half the price of what they are at the commissary. So we got some canned vegetables. Then I went to, where we go? Then we went to Food Lion, picked up some items that were on sale there. Then we went to Farm Fresh, which is another store, pick up items there, and ended up at Walmart picking up a few items there. So as you can see, just like you, the average American, when we're buying our groceries, we have to stop at several stores to get our supplies to maximize our dollar. And then that's what we got to live on. So what kind of presidential candidate? I mean, I'm just like you, everybody else, that experiences every day the exact same thing you experience. And we see nothing coming our way from the federal government. Well, should we? What we should see is relief from the federal government's burden. The federal government's burden is taxes and regulations. That's the federal government's burden. That we should see relief from. Reduce of regulations so that in our country prosperity can return. Reduction of all these different taxes so that we take home our paycheck and let what we be able to spend be taxable. But then the rich haven't figured out how to get around that. Truthfully and honest, I feel anybody who spends $1 inside the United States should be taxed. Whether you're rich, you're poor. Whether you're religious or not. And go from there. But then, that is neither here nor there. I think things shouldn't be taxed. And what they should do is reimburse everybody on a certain amount scale of what we consider an average family would spend. That means the poor people would get more money and the richer people would get less. But actually, no, they're not getting more or less. They're getting the exact same amount. But to a guy who makes, or a woman who makes, let's say $20,000 a year, a check every 3 or 4 months for $1,400 would be a whole lot of money. Whereas someone at the top end who makes almost $1 billion or more a year, a check for $1,400 wouldn't even pay for his lunch. You see what I'm saying? That's what I mean by different amounts. The one who gets the 14 at this end, it's big, it's humongous. The one who gets it at this end, it's small and has very little meaning. But they all would pay a certain percentage of their spending on taxes. That's the way I think our tax should be. People, your rights need to be protected. Each and every one of them. But moreover, your privileges need to be protected. But government's trying to take all those away. Then they'll work on the rights. And you got to watch out. Because once they start taking away one right here, one right there, you have no rights at that point. So people, when the guy called and wanted money from the presidential candidate, JD, and JD said to him, I have no money. And he asked back, or said back, "You got no money. What kind of presidential candidate are you?" I guess my answer is, I'm the poor one. I'm not one of the rich ones. I'm just not rich. Sorry. I'm just an everyday, average person who can do the job our nation needs and who believes in the Constitution and knows together you and I can and will fix our national government. But only if you, the people, choose to. All of you are equal in my eyes, whether you're the poorest, the richest, the youngest, or the oldest, or anything in between. What group you belong to, it doesn't matter. Don't ask me what I'm going to do for this group or that group. Don't ask me what I'm going to do for this ethnic group against that ethnic group, or what I'm going to do for the women, or what I'm going to do for the men. Because I'm going to do the same for each and every one of you. I am going to protect you from the federal government, and we together will fix our nation. All of you, each and every one of you, matter to me. I guess I'm just the poor candidate, not one of the rich. Sorry, that's what JD is. The presidential candidate that experiences every day what you all experience every day. Unless you're in the top 2%. If you're the rich ones, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But you might want to think about it. Have a nice day. This is JD. Oh, I wish someone would listen.